Uh-huh. It's so confusing. I don't understand. Like, this is the view we need to do.
It was like that a few weeks ago.
Was it?
Yeah, but like, most of the time we like. Most of the time.
They get my Botox done.
Anyways, but we're not trying to screen today. Actually, no, we might.
I like it better than
The overhead.
the overhead view. Because it just looks tidier. Can you pull that packet up?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Oh my gosh. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I think. It's gonna be something. We're gonna learn a lot. I'm gonna run into the restroom. Once these out, we're gonna-
Yeah.
Yes, please. Don't get ahead. Don't look at. Pretend like you're in school. Turn it upside down. Face down. Face down. And look at it. Yeah, right. Face down. Not allowed to look at it.
It's kind of a test. No, don't start. Tara wants you to wait. I want to look at it. I love personality. What?
Oh, kid.
Yelling. Oh my gosh. This thing is so slow. This computer is so slow. I don't even know what it's doing. Okay.
Oh, so
Yesterday I walked 3 miles. First time I watched that.
Well, yeah, it's always Okay, so I remember like in this one class. But I cheated one time in geometry class. I think it was a sophomore in high school.
I got caught. I did it one time and I got caught. I think because I was so guilty. I think it was all over my face. And that was it.
I got caught. And the teacher attended my dad's church.
Oh,
So
you got to be
and
about it.
got caught, not only by the teacher, but by the congregants. Yeah, it was great. I'm gonna make more of these. Okay.
You need more?
Yes, I have some. Thank you. I will give you yours back then. So. Do you need this while you're doing it? No, I can do it on my iPad. Okay. So Gary, we did this mastermind a couple weeks ago. And Gary basically said, people, sometimes it's really hard to connect with people, whether it's recruiting or engagement or whatever. But he said, if you can get into some type of assessment of personality, almost everybody is interested in that. Interestingly, right? So it's like, as you guys learn, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. I had run downstairs to go to the restroom, back up. But there's like a 16-person pile of the ladies' bathroom. So we're always in on shape.
I know that. That's funny.
So anyway, once you understand how this works, just like, I mean, Krista could probably talk about DISC all day long. How many of you guys have done a DISC assessment? So the DISC is DISC, and it's I don't know all the words, but a driver, intuitive, influencer. The S is kind of yeah. And then the C is compliant, conscientious, correct. So in sales, does everybody know what mirroring and matching is? In sales, if you can get a read on the kind of person that you're in front of and mirror and match their behavior, you'll connect at a higher level. So
Is that what this is teaching us?
no, has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
Nothing at all. And I'll just say that really it all starts with who you are.
Okay.
Because if you don't know who you are, there's really no baseline of where anybody else lands. And it's hard to mirror and match if you don't even really know how you show up. So I think it all really starts with, this is like 6 personal perspectives. Number 1 is master yourself. That's not it, but it's something like that. Self-mastery, right? So this, just so you guys know, as we go through this, there are no wrong or right answers. Hello, Sambreen. We were waiting on you, my friend. How many of you guys still need a packet? Okay. And she's still making copies? Okay, cool. So, wait for the copies. So anyway, does all that make sense?
People's Keys has the absolute best. It charges you, but People's Keys has, I think, the absolute best results, but it's also very easy to read and it gives you very specific with the D personality. Here's how you relate to an I personality, right? And then there's a ton of readers.
So how much do they want? How much?
$30.
Yeah, I was gonna say 30 bucks.
And if you do want their People's Keys and you need it validated, that's
Um, yeah, we do a lot of assessing in our world, don't we?
What's the assessment we use when we first come on board?
Might have been the KPA,
Okay.
Keller Personality Assessment. If anybody is, I'm gonna be rolling out applications for my Leadership Academy and MREA Masters. We will be doing multiple assessments in that. So other assessments that you might see would be Thinking Strengths Assessment. The Myers-Briggs is a pretty common assessment. Yeah. DISC is commonly used in any sales because it's simple and we can identify and do variant matching. Enneagram is one that I think people use. Just a cool way to understand yourself and then understand how you, like Kristen said, how you can better connect with other people. Okay, so everybody has a copy. We're going to go ahead and get started. So everybody go to the first page. This should say the Keller thinking box. And so what I want you to do is we're going to go through, there's 15 statements. You're going to start in box 1. And the first statement is, I enjoy brainstorming and thinking outside of the box. 1 is rarely true. 5 is always true. And so you just want to rank yourself based on each line. Okay, so you're just going to go through each statement, rank yourself from a scale of 1 to 5. And then once you get each section done, you'll total the score in each gray box for that section. Okay, so once you get each section complete, you're going to total the total in your gray box. Everybody got that done? All right. How many of you guys have the highest total in box number 1? Okay, so you guys are what we would call the creators. You like choices. And so on the second page, when I tell you what you are, just write it in. It says you are a natural. So if you're a 1, you're a natural creator. Okay. How many of you guys had the highest score in box number 2? Oh, none of you guys. Oh, you can have 2. You can have 2. Okay, so if you got the highest in box number 2, you're an analyst. You like details. First one's creator. Second one is analyst. How many of you guys got highest in number 3? Couple of you. Okay, so number 3 is you're an optimist. You like positives. Number 4, anybody have high in 4? Okay, number 4 are risk managers. You focus on negatives. Look for things that could go wrong. And then number 5, okay, that is the intuitive. You're led by your feelings. So if you guys turn to the second page where it says, if they're tied, yeah, you might want to go back and just like when we're done today, you might go back and really evaluate like which stands out the most to you. And as we go through this, you may get more clarity.
What was number 2?
Number 2 is the analyst. You like details. So on page number 2, you're going to put you are a natural blank. And those options are all on page 3, by the way. It looks like this house. Your natural data stylist. And you have 2 total. Yeah, okay. So here's what it says on the bottom of page 3. The best decisions. Remember, this is how you think. I mean, this is the thinking box. It's how you make decisions, right? So the best decisions are not made by our narrow preferred way to think. They're actually made by using all 5 options. You may have a natural way that you think, yet when you compact all of the thinking boxes, you can have a more holistic approach to processing information, right? So number 1 is choices. What are my options? Number 2 is your detail. Where is the research? Number 3 is positives. What's the upside? Number 4 is negatives. What's the downside? So a couple of you guys had 3 and 4. I think people think that way. Like, how could this go well? What could go wrong? I think a lot of leadership people think that way. We try to project pitfalls so we can avoid them, right? And then number 5 is like, what's your belief on? What's your gut tell you? By the way, gut is very validating.
I would say so. You said it's a valid way?
Yeah, so did Gary Keller. He said,
Really?
listen to your gut.
That's probably my number. Like that being positive. I probably need more of the negative. But I will do like, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? And then I look at that and then I'm like, I'm gonna accept that. Let's do it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This is, if you guys like go back through those questions and like think about them, you could meet a client that's stuck somewhere and you could say, hey, just out of curiosity, like, how do you normally rely on facts and data? Like you can learn about how your client is processing and therefore you meet them in that way. Make decisions, right? This is how they think the process, right? So that's the thinking box. We are going to go into, so whatever you scored highest on would have been your default, where you're going to default. You can't grow in the other, so that's where you're not. Okay, so we're going to go into the second one, which is your behavior box. So if you go to, I think it's page 4, we're going to do the same thing with those 12 lines. We're going to rate those on a scale of 1 to 5. This is the behavior box. So once you have that, you're going to total up in your gray boxes. Everybody good? So if you had your highest score in box number 1, you're an activator, which means you're fast-paced and people-focused. You're an activator. If your highest score was in box number 2, you are a tasker, which means you're slower paced and you're task focused. If your highest score is in box number 3, you're an achiever, which means you're fast paced and you're task focused. And if your highest was in number 4, you're a collaborator, which means you're slower paced and you're people focused. So how many of you guys in the room were either activators or achievers? Or a combination of both? Activator, achiever? Activator, collaborator? You can have 2 here too. You can, and you're probably gonna have one that you feel you lead with, maybe. Yeah. I think I had 3 on this one. No, I had 2 on this one, but they were tied. So if you go to the next page, which is page 7 or 6, there should be a behavior box. And it's the 4 boxes. And so if you look, how many of you guys were activators? A lot of activators. So if you look in that top right corner, your temperature of engagement is high. Like you're going to probably run into things. You're going to run towards action, and you typically will be energized with people. You're going to ask what, where, and who. Your key traits are you're an energizer, a mobilizer, and a driver. And why I asked how many of you guys, because if you own a business at some level, you gotta activate things, right? Typically. How many of you guys are achievers, which is number 3? Okay. The achiever likes to do it alone. They say what and where. Doesn't mean they can't work with people. It just means they actually can also succeed on their own. They're independent, they're efficient, and they're results oriented. How many collaborators do we have? Okay, so collaborators, that is slow paced and people focused. So you guys can see the speed on that's going like horizontal. The engagement is vertical, so you want to do it right and usually with other people. You have inclusion, you're inclusive, diplomatic, and people oriented. And then the tasker on the bottom left, any taskers in here? Okay, so taskers are slower paced, task focused. They can work alone. They like to get things done the right way. And they're a little bit more reserved, meticulous, and deliberate. Which of these can be successful in our industry? All of them. Yeah. However, it may help you understand better. You know, some people need to be around people to be successful. Like they need to show up in the office, be around people, have accountability. Other people can do their own thing and hit all their goals and not need that additional layer. You need people, you need attraction. Yeah. 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 Thank you.
Is that what you guys
Yeah. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. This is your core needs, okay? So your core needs are what truly drive and fulfill you. This is going to be different than your core values, okay? So what we're going to do is you're going to review all of the core needs in step 1. And by the way, if there's something not listed there that you want to use, you can use it. You're not limited to these words. But you're going to write out your top 10 core needs in step 2. And then once you have the top 10, we're going to force rank them into what is most important to least important. Most important is number one. Does that make sense? So we'll have about a minute or two. You might want to just like circle them in the top and then write them and force rank them.
So we're just gonna circle 10.
Yep. Unless there's something that is a need of yours that's not on there, you can absolutely write it in. And I am going to have a couple of you guys share these. You did. Well, clarity. Yeah, step 3 is just force rank. Yeah, you can go into step 3, which is you're just going to rank them like what is most important of your 10 down to least important. Look, okay, so if you have 13 and you can't get rid of them, look for words that kind of mean this, have a common meaning, and then pick your favorite of those two. No.
It wasn't first.
That means she's living in her actual reality. Okay, this one is what drives and fulfills you. Have any of you guys ever done an assessment where you did this and you select your core needs and then rank them? Interesting that, I mean, None of us are super young in here, yet I find it interesting that we don't know. We're getting up every day, doing things, and maybe aren't clear yet on why. So how might understanding what drives and fulfills you impact your business and your life? We won't tell. Mark has enough love for both of you.
Even if he needs the freezer open.
I didn't add much, so that's what I'm
I
so.
didn't either. Control, order, and
Okay, let's hear some of them. Kristen, what are your top 10? Oh, we gotta get it. You gotta force rank them. Who has theirs force ranked? Tammy, you were done first. What will you read your top 10 on the in number 3?
family, friendship, honesty, love, trust, success, fun, joy.
Love it.
And you're pretty, probably just have.
That sounds like you. Yeah. It's interesting, like fun and all that, and still there's control. And that's totally fine. You can value all of that. Who else wants to share your top 10? What's your name? Tasha, you're up. And then we'll do Brian Jackson. Love it. So good. What you got, Brian?
I've got family, health, wealth, integrity, love, respect, growth, purpose, excellence, and support.
Really good. Do you want to go, Travis?
Yeah.
That's okay.
So achievement, integrity, purpose, creativity, honesty,
That's not a robot. It's not a robot. Okay, your 10 was control. And Brian, what was your 1? Family? Your 1 was family too. Can you guys see how alignment might be important? Because you could have very different lists. Like somebody may, especially in a team, we'll just say in a team, one person may really value fun and one person may really value achievement. Are either of those bad? They're not. Yet, like your day may look very different, right? Yeah. Me too. I like to win. Yeah. Yeah. Really good. Okay. How many of you guys learned something new about yourself in that exercise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family at the top of
And you know what? That's okay. Like, I will say this. In 2014, I was a team leader for the first time, and I hired an MCA, which would have been by Lindsay. This is in Lexington. And she was openly adamant about the fact that her big why was not her family. Like she was like, my big why is me. And like at that time in my life, I had a lot of programming around self, and I thought, that is so crazy. Like she's not saying for kids, she's not saying, I mean, it's all about her. And 10 years later, like I have so much respect for that. Like I've grown, right? She's maybe a little further ahead of me because now I understand you really can't pour from an empty bucket. And she understood she had to value and live her best life for the other people around her to have that impact. It is. Yeah.
Especially the other side that's watching it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's okay.
So
So
you're saying at different stages of our lives, we may have. Sure. Number one. Oh, absolutely.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Then you were picking up yourself. So
Yeah. And that, not to get down another bunny trail, but I want to share. You guys know I just went to NLP training, neuro linguistics programming. Kristen's going. It's Peyton's. Yeah, she's supposed to be there. She had to reschedule. my vision is that we have 25 people NLP certified. Because NLP gives you permission to reprogram thinking that you were given by someone else. It also allows you to think in possibilities, and they give you modalities to make change. I'll give you an example, and this might be a little kooky, but I saw this work. If you have there were two modalities that were really impactful. One is like they couldn't stop people from smoking cigarettes because that is actually chemically and biologically, but like let's say you wanted to stop eating chocolate candy. They taught us how to reprogram the subconscious mind to believe that like eating chocolate was like eating oysters in a half shell or whatever somebody didn't like. And in like 5 minutes, someone that really had a kind of something they were craving, they were literally able to reprogram and cross the wires into where it had a negative result. We did it.
How do we make?
There's a little bit of that going on.
Yeah.
The other thing I saw them do was, and this was emotional, but they asked, have you guys ever needed to make a decision and felt conflict? So they asked the room if anybody had a conflict in their life. And there was a girl in the back, a young girl, and she raised her hand and she said, I do. And he said, you want to come up on stage. So she came up on the stage and they did it in front of the room. So essentially her conflict was she didn't know if she should sell her house and pay off her debt or if she should keep it because she had a single mom with little kids and she felt like it provided stability. She started crying. She's like, I'm so torn because I don't know if I should sell my house or keep it. And so he did a modality exercise where he basically had her hold out her hands and he said, when you think about keeping the house, who do you envision? Like, who is the person standing on this hand? She said, it's my dad. Oh, it's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
And so he started chunking up what that represented. And he said, it represents family and stability. And as soon as she started using the words, you could tell that she owned the house because her dad thought it was the right thing.
Yeah.
So then he said, okay, let's pause. I want you to tell me who's standing on this hand. And she said, it's my mom.
Oh my God.
And then he said, what does this represent? And she said, fear, doubt. It was all very negative. And he said, and so, what does the doubt represent? And she said another word. And she said another word. And so like 10 words later, she said family on the mom side. It was crazy. As soon as she said the word we heard over here, he basically said, do you acknowledge that these two things have something in common? And she was like, yeah. And he goes, I want you to accept that this conflict has an adjoined positive meaning for your life. And she did this thing with her hands. And as soon as she did it, he goes, first of all, he said, do you smell popcorn? If you guys know Diana Kokoska, that's like a pattern interrupt. It's to make you like get out of this state.
Okay.
And he goes, so what do you feel about the house? He didn't say like, are you going to sell the house or whatever? He said, what do you think about your house? He actually kind of like forgot that's why she's on the stage. And she goes, well, I've got to keep my house because it's stability for my kids. Like everybody in the room was crying. But the point of that is we all have programming consciously and subconsciously. And you guys, your subconscious mind, I'll say this quickly again, there's 2 million bits of information going by your brain every second. Your subconscious mind can only grab 126 bits of information. How does it select the bits of information? How does it know what to choose?
The ones that are being repeated the most.
That's right. What's in your programming which could be tied to things. Sometimes we think we value things, but they're things somebody else told us we should value.
Oh, moral.
So this could even be deeper for you.
Mic drop.
I know. You have to really think for yourself, right? And dig into, is family important to me because that's what somebody on this hand told me should matter, or is it important to me because that's what gets me out of bed every day, right? And so all of that to say, you can change what 126 bits you pick up based on how you reprogram what matters most. That's like the shortest. I was in 4 days, 12 hours of training. The class is $150 if you want to go get NLP certified. And I will say it was like life changing. You gotta go take it somewhere. So I've got promo code. It's not that expensive for the training, but you gotta go take it. Like she's going to Denver. They have it in Chicago and some other places. But you all just said what you value. And I just told you that it may be something that somebody else told you you should
So
value.
can I ask, when he was making her weigh that, was it the fact that there was a common ground?
Yeah.
Despite the negative and the positive, right, that brought her to her final decision, but it was family.
It actually got, the word wasn't family, the word got to love. When
Okay.
she got to family, he got to love on her mom's side, which took, it took 20 different words that she had to chunk up into what else that represented, not attached to her mother, just like what else does that word represent? And when he got to love, he aligned it and the conflict went away for a short enough time that she could make the decision. Because sometimes we get stuck in conflict, we can't even think clearly.
Wow.
And there were like 6 modalities they taught us, but this little piece is like Gary's take. At some level, Gary Mark wrote it. They get this stuff at a high level. Yeah, the brain gets paralyzed and can't make a decision because it's caught in probably trying to make everybody else happy. I don't know. Can't get clarity, right? Okay, let's keep going. We're gonna go to your wants. So this is on page, it looks like 9, 8 or 9. So we talked about your needs. Now I want you to think about what you want. And you're gonna circle your top 10, write them down in step 2, and then force rank them. And there is a difference between wants and needs. So you may have to go back and change some of the last one. I don't know. Hmm? They can overlap, maybe something you really want, it may be something you need, but they may be different. the other thing about wants and needs is if you have like unresolved trauma, they talked a lot about this in NLP. If you have unresolved trauma, you could have a part of you that skews what you see as a want and a need, right? Like just something that needs healing of some sort. So sometimes when we have that gap, we want things or feel like we need things that are just, it's just a gap that's creating, filling a void, right? And it may not, if that void were filled, it may be something completely different that you wanted and needed. So what did I say? Step one of 6 personal perspectives is self-mastery. It's where it all starts.
This is interesting. It's like the AA theories.
Yeah. Admitting, first step is accepting you have a problem. Not that I've been to that, but
No,
yes.
I
I haven't been to AA, but I have been to some 12 step. Okay, does anybody want to share your top 10 wants? Yeah, force rank, and then are your wants and needs different?
Yeah.
Tom?
Prayer, love, peace, and health. And that's through, growth.
Okay, I like it. Yep. Hey, hey, yeah. Yeah.
Respect, freedom, influence, success, beauty, achievement, acceptance, wealth.
Yeah, that's more.
Yeah. That's how I see it.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Connection, wealth, excitement, acceptance, pleasure, contribution, adventure, beauty.
And that, where's your wants and needs different at some level? Yeah, yeah,
I didn't realize it until I started
doing it.
I'm like, wow.
Some of us say it, some don't. Yeah.
When I wrote them down, when I
Yeah. Oh, they did? Different words?
I started writing. So wealth and stability is really the same thing.
Yeah.
So I merged them together. And then variety got to do.
Oh,
I like to be in different streams.
Yeah. love it.
So we did.
Yeah.
As long as it's the same old,
Could be. It could be that things you want are things you know you need, right? But also sometimes we think we need something, but we actually just want it, right? So there is a difference in the two. So, okay, let's look at your beliefs. So this is a longer list. And so you're still gonna pick your top 10. So what 10 beliefs do you value most? And then on the next page, you're gonna list them and we're gonna rank them, one being most important. Yeah. Yeah. That's because this is an unapproved version of the. So once you get done with that, we're gonna skip ahead just for time. I want to look at some of this emotion stuff. Okay, so we're not gonna review this one just because I want to keep going. And I can stay a little after if you need to, but I want you guys to go to page 14, which is understanding your emotions, self-assessment. So in this one, I want you to circle or write down your top 5 most frequent emotions from that list. This is 14. Yeah, understanding your emotions. So top 5. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip it just for time. You guys can take this packet home and there's a lot in it. Top 5 that you feel on a regular basis. The most frequently experienced emotions you have, the top 5. And nobody's gonna grade this, so I would just be super honest. When you go to the second page on this one, it has you write those 5 emotions, and then it also has you write the triggers. So what usually triggers that emotion? So if you feel anxiety often, what is the trigger for anxiety? If you feel happiness often, what triggers your happiness? This was a really interesting thing we did in NLP too. Um, we picked a trigger and um, reprogrammed. We backtracked to the place that the trigger happens, and we went one thought before that and reprogrammed what was going to happen next. And I did it with a guy that was very emotional, and he basically said, "When I get home from work, if I'm late, my wife accuses me of cheating on her."
Oh, no.
And he said, actually, sometimes I even get off early. And if I show up early, she thinks something's gone on in my day that's allowed me to get home early. And so he's telling me, and we started backtracking. Where does the trigger like start? And I said, is it when you pull in the driveway? Is it on your way home? No, I feel fine on my way home. So when you pull in the driveway, nope, I feel good. He's going through it in his mind. Feel good in the driveway. So when you're walking up the sidewalk, nope, I feel good. Is it when you open the door? He's like, it's already there. So we went back. It's when his hand starts to reach for the door. He has a trigger. So, like, what do you think happens when he opens the door? He's already triggered, and she's probably like, "What happened today?" Because you know what I mean? So we went backwards and we reprogrammed what happens every time his hand reaches for the door into a positive, and we replayed it. And every time he opened the door, there wasn't anything, but she was so happy to see him on the other side. But like your triggers actually sometimes cause more things to happen. So this section I think is really great because it lets you understand what triggers you so you can actually rewind and identify things before they might cause the trigger and start to adjust, especially if it's a negative emotion, right? So are your emotions typically positive, negative, or a mix, right? When do you feel them? What patterns trigger these for you, right? Are you surprised? And then there's a self-reflection section on if you'd like to experience more of a positive emotion, how do we tap into those triggers, right? Like, if there's a person that every time the phone rings and they call, you get really excited, how do we have more of that versus the person that calls and it makes you death spiral, right? It's just all awareness. So let's do you guys want to I want to do one more with you. Do you want to do strengths or mindset? Mindset? You guys want to do mindset?
You can take a vote. You can take a vote.
How many of you guys want to do strengths? How many of you want to do mindset? The good news is you can do them all. You just take your packet with you. We're going to do mindset. So turn to page 18. And there are 10 questions. And I want you to just go through and circle A, B, C, or D. once you finish the 10 on the self-assessment, you're going to go back through. And for every A you have, you get 5 points. For every B, you get 4. For every C, you get 3. And for every D, you get 2. Those can be found on page 19. And so you're going to want to total up your total for those 10 questions. And then we'll just talk through.
I would answer like different ones depending on the day. So we're just going with the one the most. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to be. Like,
Yeah, I would
wanna
say-
be an A. I'm reading them.
Yeah.
I also want
Yeah, what is most common for where you normally show up, I guess, in your day? Yeah, Bo and I did the One Thing retreat in Austin in November last year, and we talked about core values. And Wendy said, sometimes we put down what we think our core values are, but she said, you'll actually know your core values because it's the thing that triggers you when the opposite happens. So I found out that one of my values is efficiency, because when people are inefficient, like it makes me crazy. Like if I feel Bo makes a wrong turn and I feel like we're gonna be late, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like it's a trigger. So I know that I value efficiency. So some of these you'll find the answer for you because the opposite creates a reaction. Okay, how many of you guys are growth oriented? Growth oriented, you embrace challenges and see setbacks as opportunities to learn. I'm not going to ask just in case you don't want to share. If you are generally positive mindset, which is 31 to 40, you have a mostly positive outlook with some fixed tendencies. 21 to 30 is a mixed mindset. You sometimes feel stuck, but you also see growth as being possible. And then 11 to 20 is a fixed or pessimistic mindset, which means you may focus more on limitations. Awareness is the first step to change. Doesn't really matter where you're at. It's just like knowing where you're at, so that if you want a different outcome, you can choose it. So the last section on this is stress triggers. And so you guys can stick around and do that, but I'd love to hear from you all. Like, what did you learn as going through? And by the way, stress triggers are important. Similar to DISC, there is we all have the ability to soften who we are at some level, right? When you take the DISC assessment, there's like how you see yourself, who you actually are, and then how the world perceives you. 3 separate scores because we can show up differently. But when you get stressed, when people get under stress, we revert to our natural behavioral style. Here's an example. This is a Tara Smith example. On the DISC, I'm an 8. I'm a driver. And so I have to spend a lot of time during the day softening my approach. I've learned some of this and I'm still not perfect at it. But when I get under stress, it is like the bull is going through the wall. Like it is just, and it's a stress. It's just your natural behavioral style under stress. So just be aware when you have stress and triggers, how you show up is probably, it's going to demonstrate who you are at the core. Doesn't mean it's good or bad. It just means it comes out. It all comes out in the wash, and having awareness so you can prevent stress triggers or not get to a place where you lose it. It's just maybe go meditate or something. I don't just awareness, right?
Because I used to shove it down, and then I was low. And
Yeah.
I learned, don't shove it down. Tell somebody that cares about you.
Yeah.
I'm freaking out over on this process. Just need your help, and then I don't blow because I like let something out.
Yeah.
I
Well,
really see.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, "Ooh, sorry, like I lost it there a minute. Yeah. So what did you guys learn and how can we use this information?
Gives us a better insight as to who we really are, because like you said, there's no wrong, right answers. But you just gotta be truthful with yourself. And then it builds a foundation on where your strengths and weaknesses are, and what you can do to balance.
Yeah. Who you can surround yourself with. Like if you go into team building, usually look for people that complement you, not don't put like 14 battering rams on the same thing. Get some soft people around you. So what else? Anybody else learn anything or there's more we can dive into, right? In your packet? You guys are all like internal, I can feel you.
Yeah, and kind of like, it's interesting when we did our needs and our wants, but especially the needs, because that's what we started with. I don't know, it just hit me like a ton of bricks, the fact that I didn't have family. I didn't even notice. I went back and circled it because I was like, oh shit, I was supposed to circle that. You know, I felt the exact same way. It's so weird to say that. But then I went back and I took it out. I was like, no, because that's.
Was that the need or the want?
That was the need.
The need.
I didn't even look at it in once.
Yeah, she had independent on something else. Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just finding it very interesting.
This was very.
Yeah.
The balance I'm finding here.
It is, this is inside work.
I like the script. And it brought up the memory. This just happened not too long ago. So it's three of us that we got a picture of the cradle and our mom all were friends. Ourselves cradle to the grave. So she got married and just didn't want to deal with it with just the piece.
Mhm.
And I flew down and signed the thing. Teacher wasn't there. Teacher had the 12 plate for the French. She always wanted. So she just got married and Tiny that and signed for her.
Yeah.
And they sort of ambushed me as a teacher popped up like one of them over it out. And then she told me she got married and I was like sad. And I felt hurt for a minute. And then she was like, "Well, she signed Tiny." Like I didn't tell her, like, but she wanted to tell me before, you know.
Yeah, there was conflict.
But yeah, so I
It's
mean,
all what people value, right?
yeah, but she was like, I told her not to come, but she still snuck up here and off her phone, and it got funny because my friend was here, and when I got married to avoid conflict, I sort of left her out. Another girl that was there, and it was like,
Yeah.
So you got to accept it and grow at the same time. We all got to.
Yeah,
That was to be.
that's really cool.
That was really. Like,
That is.
and then I looked over to her and she said, "Yeah, I know that feels." And I was like, "Oh."
It's crazy, right? So you guys take your packet, keep working on who you are. If anybody's interested in NLP training, message me or I just give me your contact, text me or I'll give you guys my cell number. Just text me and I'll get you. I don't know where the markers are. Oh, here we go. I'll got my number.
Yeah, go in October. I'm going to Denver. Anybody want to take the, I'll take Denver.
You know, something else they taught us, we learned a lot of things, but they taught us how some people are a bit 30,000 feet thinkers. What do you call that? High level? How many of you guys would say you're like kind of big picture? Big picture, yeah. How many of you guys would say you're a big picture thinker? How many of you guys are really detailed. Okay, I got really good clarity, and so here's the thing, how you receive information, you either receive information, big picture or detail, and separate to that, you can also communicate information, big picture or detail. You could be someone that received information really detailed, but you communicate big picture. Okay, so this is a true story. Bo and I, every year I try to get Bo to sit down and go over our goals. We're gonna be on our list 10 years. So last year I was like,
Artist.
last year I was like, okay, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna set our financial goals for the next 5 years, what we wanna accomplish, what are we gonna do? And so we sit down, we're kind of into that legacy piece, like we're trying to think about like, what do we wanna have in place for our kids, even though like. They're all, I'll be like, it's the whole thing. So we get to the first thing and it's like, you know, we should save X amount of money. My brain, we save X amount of money. I'm gonna do the next thing. Bo literally stops and wants to dissect where we're saving, what's gonna go into this fund, this college fund, this 401k, Roth IRA, and I'm just like, literally, this is me, and I'm done here, 5 minutes in, I'm done. I am not having, yeah, like I was already on 14 other big picture things, in my brain it all made sense, and he wanted to like extrapolate each thing. And so that helped me a lot to understand, like,
Well, that's why you're because if you're moving on to something, you're freaking doing it.
it is.
No, isn't that a good thing?
It's a good thing, and then sometimes it also just drives me crazy.
Well, because he's dissecting it and you're just putting it in the big picture, right? He's dissecting it.
But what they taught us is, if you want to connect with people relationally, right, identify are they big picture or detail, and then you can chunk up or chunk down so that you're speaking the same language.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all awareness, all of it.
Especially in sales, so I was in sales prior to real estate, I was a manager at Jared's, stand-in manager for the dining department at Bridal. So that is one thing that was very top of mind for training and personality, so they should mirror them, because if you get a technical person, person, but you've already lost them anyway. Like you're like, well, I can, we're talking about financing,
Or somebody
You're
says,
like, I don't care, I like the ring, and he's over here.
yeah, somebody says, I want a one carat diamond, and one says, but I want this level of clarity. Like, that's two different conversations.
But I also had to learn that that's where I lack in a certain part of that, not being an extra like person, or you know what I mean? So I've always got to figure out who's around me that can fill in that personality gap that is totally not in. But I've also learned to adapt to 30 years of filling in that. You know, hear about.
Yeah.
People buy it.
That's what we're doing. That's the bottom line. Like, that is the key of it.
Right.
And like, the thing is, did anybody in here get the wrong answer today? No. No, it's just who you are. And yet, when you are with someone else, something you value may not be what they wrong. You just need to have awareness that efficiency is not everybody's thing. Sometimes they may have to slow down to this is know yourself, and then you can understand how to get people and nobody's wrong. These are good things too. If you're in a relationship, whatever that relationship is, what the person you hang out with. If you guys, if anybody wants to hear, I have some kids.
What is it? When?
having retreats. And I said, I have 2 tickets, and to Kristen's point, Ella and I go every year. We do it together so that we don't like really, it's individual, but it allows us to get an understanding of what we're trying to do. Yeah. And I think it does help in that partnership. It does, because if you've been in this industry, one particular, been in this company, we've watched personal professional growth happen because of these conversations, these assessments. It doesn't necessarily translate when you take it home, right? So sometimes one partner's moving towards understanding, feeling, and communication, while the other part is still on. You know, so it can, it's watched it happen, you watch the conflict, and parties grow apart because of that. So I would just suggest when you go down this road, take your speed and take care of it. You may not want to. Get it done. That's all. If you go to screening, or just someone you hang out with all the time, does your dog count? Your dog, can you explain my dog?